Yanela Frias doesn't hesitate when asked what she loves about working at Prudential.
From a cultural perspective, we're a purpose-driven organization, and that is really meaningful to me. It is a group of really smart people working together, collaborating to meet the challenges and solve the challenges of our customers, and that makes work interesting every day.
The interesting days have compounded for 27 years into an extraordinary career.
I started in finance. I spent about 19 years through the finance organization. I like to say I grew up in finance. I spent a number of years in the corporate treasury organization where I probably grew the most there. And then I went off and was CFO for a couple of businesses, both the life business and the annuities business. And then I said, I want to run a business. So that is quite non-traditional, but I really wanted to experience what it was like to run a P&L.
But did you always have clarity? Did you always know, sort of, I'm here, but I know where I'm going to next?
Directionally. To me, it wasn't, I want to be CFO, I want to be CEO. To me, it's always been, I want to have growing responsibilities where I'm challenged every day, where I'm adding value, and where I'm making an impact.
In March 2024, Yanela Frias took on her most challenging assignment so far as Prudential's Chief Financial Officer. CEO Charlie Lowry says putting her in that position was an easy call.
Well, she was the right person at the right time. She understands the business side, she understands the functional side, she understands the financial side of things, and given that combination of experiences, we thought she would be a fantastic CFO, and she's turning out to just knock the cover off the ball. She's been great.
It's a big job, and Frias has embraced it.
I think one of the biggest surprises, and it shouldn't have been a surprise, but biggest awareness for me was how vast the role is and how everything that happens in the organization in one way, shape, or form crosses my desk.
Prudential has become a diversified global financial services company with a complex mix of businesses contributing to its success. Its future hinges on leaders who can connect the dots, who can mold a dynamic array of people, products and services into a purposeful and profitable big picture. Yanela Frias is an accomplished dot connector.
Need any help on the capital piece, or is that?
Well, yeah, because the capital piece is interactive. Having run the retirement business, having run the group business, having been many years in a treasury organization, understanding the opportunities that we have as an organization and as a business, but also how do we meet the needs of customers and do so in a way that creates value for everyone. And that's where connecting the dots in terms of here are the risks we're taking, how are we getting paid for those risks, how are we making sure that we meet our promises. We're in the business of making long-term promises. So focusing on financial strength and being here for another 150 years is top of mind for us.
Prudential's reputation rests on consistency, like the Rock of Gibraltar, built into its logo. When Charlie Lowry became CEO in 2018, he realized that he had to set the company on a bold new course.
This company needed to transform, and there was a lot of hard work that needed to be done in order to transform it.
We've been on a journey to be higher growth, more nimble, and more capital efficient.
There's been a lot of pressure on the banks since the financial crisis, and so what you've had is the life insurance companies filling a lot of that savings gap, and in addition you have the retirement crisis, so you have the life insurance companies also rising to address that savings for retirement gap. And then on the asset management side, you've seen a lot more private credit because they are working to fill that gap that has been left in lending. And so now what you're seeing is that the two industries are coming together, and it works very well because they both need AUM.
We have the ability to generate liabilities. We have an ability to invest that in one of the world-class asset managers we have. We have an amazing retirement business.
Our goal is to continue to grow. We have a lot of opportunities in the marketplace, and we need to do that in a thoughtful way.
On Lowry's watch, Prudential streamlined its processes and reshaped its product line, putting it on track for a record revenue in 2024. Larry will step down as the CEO in April 2025. While he'll stay for another 18 months as executive chair, it will fall to the new CEO, Andy Sullivan, and the CFO, Frias, to keep the positive momentum going.
We have lowered our market sensitivity by reinsuring a lot of different blocks of business in annuities and life. And we become more nimble through a lot of the transformative work we did through expense savings, through reorganization, et cetera. That work has all been done. But we take that and we really accelerate into a growth agenda, which is what Andy and Janella and others are going to do.
Prudential is poised to benefit from a major demographic shift. With a record number of Americans reaching age 65, more people than ever before are in the market for retirement planning, advice, and solutions. As the company's retirement business thrives, its investment arm, PGIM, has boosted assets under management while scaling up its holdings in alternatives. But even with a mandate to hit the gas, a CFO must know when to use the brake.
We're an insurance company. We're in the business of taking risk. We are looking to diversify our risk profile because it's important to have that diversification. But in order to grow, we have to take risks. They have to be prudent, they have to be thoughtful, and we have to manage them appropriately.
Are you a CFO that sort of is in haste to move, or again, is it a little bit more cautious and I like to have a lot of homework done before I pull the trigger?
I'm in the middle. I know that's an easy answer, but no. So I am incredibly results-oriented and focused on outcomes, and I like to move quickly. But I like to move when I have enough information. But I'm a big believer in, if you have 100% perfect information, you studied the problem too long.
Along with risk management, expense management will be critical to Prudential's continued success.
I don't get the sense you have to instill that in Janella. I think she struck me as a...
Oh, no. You do not have to instill that in Janella. That's part of that. That's part of why
her DNA.
Part of her DNA. Part of why she is so good is she very much wants to instill the continuous improvement.
It's about operational efficiency. It's about doing things smarter with less. And I always talk about it as it's a lifestyle, not a diet. So let's not go on programs and look to cut this much and cut that much. It's about continuous improvement, operating efficiently and having the right approach. And if you do that and you have that lifestyle, then you're actually generating funds so you can fund growth. Yeah. And so it's a flywheel, and it's the approach that we've been taking. And it's allowed us to grow our businesses faster.
To drive productivity and improve efficiency, Prudential has made significant investments in data analytics and artificial intelligence. Yanela Frias plays a key role in integrating these tools into the company's processes.
We always need people. We're in the people business. But more and more, if we really want to provide the right customer experience, fast access to products, it's about technology. Technology has always been an enabler. Now it's a strategic differentiator.
We expect that by 2027, AI spending will be about $500 billion between big tech and corporates. And so you'll see an arms race to develop all of these excellent generative AI solutions that can be used opportunistically by life insurance companies who are usually a little bit more conservative. But there are many applications for them, including servicing, claims processing, and just generally reducing paperwork and cost. So we expect that the AI arms race will be a huge tailwind for the life insurance company over time.
Give me a sense of AI in Prudential. What are you experimenting with?
A few areas. One is around customer experience. In our individual life business, our underwriting process has gone from about 20 days to minutes. In our group business, we have partnered with a number of different fintechs to really improve customer experience, to bring on board capabilities, things like claims management, where we can process a disability claim faster and help people get to work faster.
How much productivity uplift are you getting and will you get?
We're probably getting 10% at this point, but I think over time that is where the value is, and it will then allow us to take our capacity in the form of people and redirect it to more value-add activities.
In a nutshell, it means turning the menial into meaningful. It can be both a huge saver of time, but it can also provide real insight. Now, where we're going with it, let's say you want to see the financial data every month. Gen AI will put inferences and say, I see trends over the past 3 years. And here's what I'm seeing and why. And it will provide prompts for our managers to think about different issues that they might not see, sort of connecting the dots.
For all the intriguing potential of AI, Prudential's got a rock-solid asset right at hand. It's the balance sheet.
Are you fortress balance sheet first as a CFO?
Yes, absolutely. My number one job is capital and liquidity.
A AA credit rating and $4 billion plus in liquidity gives the company enviable flexibility.
We have a really strong foundation. At the same time, there are gaps and capabilities that we need to either build ourselves or acquire, and we're doing some of both.
In our asset management business, PGIM, we are looking to enhance capabilities in private credit in a few key areas. And then internationally, in emerging markets, we would be looking for opportunities to expand as well.
So is that why you like to have a little bit of extra on the balance sheet?
There's always a little, it's always good to have a little extra.
But then that suggests that you're ready to act quite nimbly if those opportunities come.
Yes, because you never know when the opportunities come, right? So having financial flexibility is about being able to weather difficult environments, and markets can change very quickly. But it's also about having the capital and the currency to act when opportunities come as well.
Prudential has reliably returned capital to shareholders through dividends and share repurchases. 2023 marked the 16th consecutive year of its increased dividend.
We've kept the level of buybacks constant for a number of years, and we've raised the dividend slowly over time, and that's been our philosophy, and we've stuck to it.
Is that something that you have believed is a counterbalance, perhaps, to the less aggressive equity performance?
I would have liked, frankly, a better equity performance than we had, but we were going through our transformation, and as a result, I think investors had a kind of wait-and-see attitude about, are you going to deliver on the transformation, and when's that going to come into the numbers? Which I get, I understand. I had conversations with investors about it. They say, what you're doing is interesting, but I want to see the results of that, and the results of that are going to come in the next few years.
Janela Frias has spent her entire 27-year professional career at Prudential and held nearly a dozen jobs at the company on the way to her current position as CFO. She traces her persistence and resilience to her experience emigrating from Cuba to the US with her family at age 8.
When you're that young and you have such a significant change in your life, you know, and you experience your parents risking so much for a better life and to provide their children with a better life, I think it gave me perspective from a young age. It made me very adaptable to change. It made me really open to taking risks, because risks led to better opportunities and to good outcomes. You know, I was the first person in my family to go to college. And to this day, every time I get a promotion, every time something good happens at work, my dad always says, that's why I came to this country.
How does that translate to how you manage as a CFO? I know you've been in different parts of the business, but do you think that experience, that immigrant experience, defines how you manage the business?
It does. I mean, I'm definitely thoughtful, prudent. I like to understand the risks I'm taking. But at the end of the day, you've got this great perspective, and you do fear less. And I always think about it as we either are going to succeed in terms of we made a decision and it played out well, or we will succeed because I learned something.
Frias is also a pathbreaker as the first female CFO in Prudential's 150-year history.
Sometimes in my position, I don't think about it too much, but as I have conversations with women, actually, even when the announcement went out, the number of emails and texts I got from women throughout this organization, not just congratulating me, but really acknowledging that this was a sign that anything was possible and that they too could rise through the ranks. I think that was really powerful. And obviously, personally for me, having 2 daughters, being the role model for them and all their friends, it's a great thing.
As Prudential's head of finance, Yanela Frias oversees more than $15 billion in annual retirement income payments to more than 2 million individual and institutional customers. And she empathizes with the struggle for security in retirement in an era when pension plans have largely given way to 401ks.
The challenge is the 401k was always a tax-advantaged savings vehicle. It was never meant to replace the defined benefit plan. And so what we need to do is help individuals understand, yes, you need to save in your 401k plan, but then how do we turn that into protected income, lifetime income?
In this environment, annuities are gaining traction as a solution, with sales booming across the entire industry.
The baby boomers are retiring, and they're really, right now, almost today at that peak age. People at that retirement age need protection from downside in the markets, and so annuities are a great way to get that. And longer term, they're going to need an income replacement.
We have been in the accumulation mode. Now we're hitting peak 65 in the US, but think about Japan as well. We're in the decumulation mode, and people need security of income as they go forward. They need lifetime income.
Are annuities back in vogue and here to stay?
They are, and I think they're here to stay because they're a great vehicle to create that protected income. And one of the good things is that annuities have actually gotten simpler through the cycle, right? So that we went through the period of the guaranteed benefits and the living benefits, and annuities became very complex and expensive, to be fair. With the simplification of the products, less expensive, I think that's what's really brought them back.
Prudential is a major player in another robust retirement market, pension risk transfer. Deal volume has soared in this space, where employers sell their in-house pension plans to insurers, reducing the risk on their books and helping preserve benefits for retirees.
You have organizations that are not insurance companies running an insurance business on their balance sheet when you think about the large organizations and their pension balances. And so what a pension risk transfer transaction does is it transfers the liability and the obligation to an insurance company that's better equipped to really manage that and ensure that those payments are getting to the annuitants. We've done 7 of the largest 10 deals in the U.S., and it's a tremendous opportunity. There's $3 trillion in pension balances in the U.S.
Where do you see the growth in that pension transfer, that pension risk transfer? Are there big opportunities beyond borders?
Yeah, at some point, we think there are pension risk transfer opportunities beyond borders. Today, we participate in the UK space through longevity reinsurance. We've also participated in Netherlands, again, through longevity reinsurance. We think at some point in Japan, that's an opportunity. And in Brazil, we think over time, today we're in life insurance, but over time, the product set will evolve as well.
How do you drive this business forward? You've got a great opportunity. You're sitting into the CFO seat. You can shape this in your own image. What's that going to be?
Well, I think a big part of it is how do we source capital? The reality is there's not enough capital in insurance companies today to meet the need when you think about pension risk transfer, individual annuities. And so one of the things we're thinking about is how do we source capital differently? So that's where third-party capital comes into play. So we have a sponsored entity, Prismic, in Bermuda, which is our way of accessing third-party capital to continue to bring those solutions to the market.
2025 is a milestone year for Prudential as the company celebrates its 150th anniversary. It's also a year of transition. Charles Lowry is set to step down as CEO at the end of March. He'll step up to the role of executive chairman.
I said to the board when I came in, give me 5 years and we'll transform the company. And it's been 6 years. And I think this is a great time to pass the baton on to the next leadership.
Prudential's new CEO will be Andrew Sullivan, who's been with the company for over a decade. He and the CFO go way back.
Andy and I have worked together in many different ways and shapes over the years. That's the wonderful thing about being in an organization so long. Actually, fun fact, he and I were both participants at Prudential's inaugural executive development program 10 years ago. He's someone I have a lot of respect for. He's a great leader. He's a friend. And I think I look forward to really partnering with him.
What do you think he's going to bring to the role of CEO?
I think Andy brings a new perspective, energy, a thoughtful approach to how we really look at our opportunities on a global basis. And I think there's incredible opportunities ahead of us.
How are you going to guide this transition? What kind of executive chairman are you going to be for 18 months?
I will be a very supportive executive chairman who will be in the background. I have taken a page out of James Gorman's book, who was executive chairman, and he had a series of rules. He said, don't ever come talk to me if you haven't talked to the CEO first. Andy is the CEO of this company, and he will run it.
2025 marks Yanela Frias' 28th year with Prudential and the completion of her first year as CFO. I asked her what she sees when she looks into the future.
What is the biggest opportunity for this organization, Prudential, in the next decade?
It's really the global retirement opportunity. There's just so much in terms of an aging population, a lack of ability for the governments to really continue to support retirement, and a need for individuals to have the ability to save and then generate protected income.
What is the biggest headwind or challenge for the organization in the next 10 years?
Our biggest challenge is prioritizing our opportunities. There is a lot that we can do, but we have limited time, limited resources, and we really need to focus. And that's something that we work really hard on. How do we prioritize to deliver the best value to our customers and our stakeholders?
Complete this sentence. The hardest part of being a CFO is?
It's the vast responsibilities, the need to be engaged in different topics. You know, in any given day, I can be in 5 meetings about 5 different businesses. That takes a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge, but it's what makes the job so much fun and so interesting.
What's the one piece of advice you would give to every young, aspiring CFO?
The piece of advice I would give them is build relationships in your role. It is a relationship business at the end of the day. It's easier to say no to something or to challenge something when you have a relationship with an individual, and that goes a long way.
And tell me, if you look backwards and you had to give yourself a piece of advice when you were younger, what would that be?
I would tell myself not to take myself so seriously. I've always been a perfectionist, and over the years, as I've grown wiser and older, I've realized, you know, perspective is important. Not everything it has to be perfect. And it's a lot easier to do your job and do it well when you're more relaxed about that.
And if a friend called you up and they said, listen, great news, I've just been appointed as CFO, probably after you say congratulations, you probably sharp in, take a breath, and then you would say?
I would say it's a wonderful opportunity to really impact the organization. You know, I always say to people, I consider myself the chief instigating officer, because my job is to be provocative, to challenge the status quo, to force us to think differently about our strategy and about our businesses, and that's what's so interesting about this role.
I'm Manus Cranny. This is Bloomberg.